Hey guys, I'm Jay Randall and welcome back to my channel where I discuss wisdom for the modern man. Today guys, I have a video to react to. This one is from a YouTube channel, like the show name is called Listen to Black Women. And the title of the video is A Black Woman's Worth. Guys, I saw about a minute into this video and I stopped it because I was like, I want to have a live, fresh reaction to this, okay? It sounded really interesting. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
These real boss men, they do not desire a financial or an intellectual equal. They are not attracted to it. It is a turn off. The pee-pee goes, burr, burr, burr. It does. I'm telling y'all the truth. They did not go to law school, L'Oreal, so they could end up with a peer.
Welcome to Listen to Black Women. I'm L'Oreal, and we're here with Elle Barner.
I'm a feminine woman, and traditionally, I want to play the feminine role.
Ebony K. Williams.
Our show up in this world is Ebony K. Williams, and no man can just hop on that.
And the beautiful Melissa Ford.
I want to preface all my answers with the fact that I am a progressive traditionalist.
And let me tell y'all something, you are in for a treat of an episode, because you are sitting amongst women that are always gonna tell it like it is, whether they get backlash or not. So we have a lot of issues when it comes to when we wanna say what we want as Black women. Right, Ebony?
Well, since you went there, yeah, it's interesting. So the past several months where I've been leading conversation
Yes.
amongst Black women and beyond, I think the main thing I've learned from this, y'all, is people really want Black women to be happy with anything. What people really want Black women to understand is that we are to be accepting of our positioning as the least desirable in society. We should get the memo that nobody really wants a Black woman. Thus, if anybody was to find themselves willing to take up with us, we should be happy, we should be grateful, and we should shut up about it. And if you are a Black woman that dares to push back on that mythology, because that's what it is, it's a damn lie from the pits of...
Before she continues, I want to touch on one of the things she just said, and she already got it twisted. One of the things she just mentioned is that society wants Black women to accept the fact that they're the least desirable. That's false, okay? We, especially in the Black community, the black men have been telling Black women all the ways in which they can become more attractive to us. The things that we would like them to change, start doing, stop doing. And the overwhelming response from Black women has been, we don't give a damn. We gonna do what we do regardless. We don't give a damn about your opinion. You can't tell us this. You can't tell us how we are. You can't judge us. Okay, this is all, trauma from this, and that, all the excuses they throw at it. But overwhelmingly, the response has been, we're not changing. Okay? Men have given Black women told them exactly what they want. They've just decided that they're not going to give it. So no, we do not want Black women to accept their position as the most unattractive of the race. No. We don't. That is where they land, unfortunately. But to accept that, do I want my Black sisters to accept that as where they stand? No. But in order for that to change, their behaviors are going to have to change. And the question is, are they willing to do that? And overwhelmingly, the response has been, no, they're not. So let's continue.
Right.
And if you were to push back on that and insist upon a value system, insist upon a criteria, insist upon just a standard into which we want to operate romantically, we are demonized.
Yes.
We are, we are seen as ungrateful, and eventually we become the ungrateful, angry Black woman. And I personally won't have it.
Every single time.
Yeah.
And you know what was really disgusting to me? You got a lot of backlash, and then I believe it was Tyler Perry who came on the flip side and basically said that we need to start looking at men that don't make as much or the stay-at-home dads and considering them.
I think his exact thing was, I mean, if he can contribute to, the light bill, then
The
you
light
know,
bill.
the light bill,
That's
but
what he said.
but he makes you happy in all other areas, then I mean, and he met you at your worth. I thought he'd actually said he met you at your worst.
Worst.
I was like, wait, what are we even saying? What is this story?
Okay, so I actually saw that video that Tyler Perry put out, and I believe he was talking about, I can't say for certain if he was strictly talking about black women. However, I'll personally say that what Tyler Perry was saying applies to all women, okay? Because what has happened over the past couple of years is that women's egos have become like astronomically high, okay? And what they think they deserve in a man out of life has become literally a fairy tale. What used to be deemed as, the lifestyle of the 1%, the select few rare women that, wow, she got that lifestyle. We all looked at that as, an extreme outlier. Now every woman thinks she deserves that. And if she doesn't have that extreme, wealthy, top tier $1 million man lifestyle, then she believes she's settling. And it's just become so far removed from their idea of what they think they deserve that they've forgotten that we're all normal, regular people. They're so high up here in the way they think of themselves that they forget that they actually are right here in reality alongside the rest of us. So when you tell them, hey, maybe you should couple up with the guy that's actually on your level, they take it as an insult. Or maybe you should not be looking for these superficial things and perhaps couple up with a guy off a different criteria. Maybe it's his morality, his respect for you, okay? His loyalty, instead of how deep his pockets are and how many vacations can he send you on. That was basically the crux of what he was trying to get. But of course, telling women to adjust what they deserve is always going to come as an insult. It's always going to be seen as an insult. And that goes for Hispanic women, white women, black women, whatever. They're always going to take, hey, maybe you should date the guy on your level. They look at the guy on their level and they think that's an insult. But let's continue.
That we're being force-fed. It's
Yeah.
gross.
And they were applauding him.
I was just like, this is, first of all, Tyler Perry makes movies where the bus driver looks like Boris Kojo. And in that case, bring him on. Every single woman would be like, girl, I'm dating a bus driver. Oh, you want to see him? You know what I'm saying? So, yes, that's a factor. And it's like, I kind of feel like it was a gotcha moment with you.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, why throw bus driver at you?
Here's the thing about what Tyler's suggesting, right? The subtext is going back to what we just talked about. Your worth is minimal. So if you are willing to accept minimal contribution to your household, a la a light bill, that is equivalent to your value in society. That's the subtext there that no one's saying out loud.
But there's all
No. Like I said, your value, bro. Okay, and see, I remember her now. She was the I won't date a bus driver lady. And here's the thing. I'm okay with that. Like, I understand based on where she's at in life, status-wise, a bus driver just isn't going to align with her, okay? And a lot of people got insulted by that because, because maybe it's the way she said it. It might have came off as though she was being entitled and looking down on a bus driver. But, bro, come on. Once women get to a certain status or echelon or, place in life, you already know they're not going to look at a guy beneath them. And for the position she's in, to suggest she get with a bus driver, I'm not going to lie, it is kind of insulting. But not to say that a bus driver isn't a worthy guy to get with. But, of course, You know what I'm saying? That's like a wealthy rich dude, you know what I'm saying? And then you're telling him to get with like a fat overweight chick, you know? You're going to take that as an insult. That's basically how she's seeing it. And I know as guys, we have to take a step back and kind of understand it from their perspective as well. So I can get that. However, we're not saying for women to accept like zero standards, date a bum, date a loser who can barely contribute to your life. No. Date your equal. Okay, but women don't see equal as equal. Women see he's making $100,000 more than me as equal. That's in their mind what they envision as equal. Not on their level. They only see better. And if it's not better, better to them is equal, which doesn't make sense. Dating a guy on their level, for them, is settling. That's where the discrepancy is. But let's keep going.
The other subtext in there is the assumption that Black women's only option is to date Black men.
Oh, well.
The conversation really
Okay,
never
Here we go.
gets,
Let me
never
get my
gets
phone.
examined as to the other options that Black women have.
Right,
You know,
right.
and listen, I understand wanting to be race loyal. I understand wanting to, if you're a Black woman, you want to marry a Black man, you want to have Black children. I totally get it. But the reality of the situation is that I feel like, and I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody, I feel like Black men don't really want to have the conversation that Black women actually do have more options that are available to them than are ever kind of proposed.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know I'm stopping this a lot, guys, but I just got a lot to say on this particular video. All right, look. Here's the reality. Yes. Okay. I got to start there. There's been the whole movement of Black women divesting from Black men for a variety of reasons. And a lot of them are going off to date white guys, which by the way, I have zero issues with. Zero. Okay? Zero. However, what they're failing to understand is that dudes out here will date anybody. Like we've already went through the dating statistics, and a lot of dudes out here aren't getting it, including a substantial amount of white guys as well. Okay? And when there's a drought, dudes will date anything. Not to say that dating a Black woman is like dating anything and your standards are super low. Absolutely not. There's great Black women out there. I'm just saying there's a desperation thing going on with men right now, and I love how they always think that just because they go outside and date white guys or Hispanic guys, that it's going to be drastically different. Like it's not going to be drastic. There's still dudes. Like at the end of the day, there's still dudes, and yeah, you might have options, but at the same time, are they going to take you seriously, or are they just testing you out for a thrill? The same way a lot of Black dudes just want to test out a white girl, test out a Hispanic girl. But at the end of the day, they're going to settle down with what they are naturally, attracted to and feel comfortable with, which is typically a Black woman. And a lot of these, white guys nowadays want to just test out a Black girl. And if Black girls are offering that, well, they're just making themselves easy targets, which is fine. If you want to date a white guy and date outside your race, I have zero issues with that. But to think that it's going to be this drastically different things, bro, white guys are still guys. Hispanic guys are still guys. You're going to get a similar outcome if you move the same way with those dudes. But okay, if you think the holy grail of dating lies outside of your dating demographic, then go ahead. Okay? Go ahead. Give it a shot, but don't be surprised by the results.
Black men, sure, it might be a little bit more difficult, but if you are willing to date outside your race, the options open up. And the culture,
I do, but wait, I have to give
Yeah.
a caveat for this because I don't want to make any presumptions. As somebody who has been very open and transparent about my dating within and beyond Black men, I just want to say that that's not necessarily the savior complex that people think. unfortunately, because I think when I have this conversation with black women who have never dated outside of black men, they often have a romanticized fantasy ideal about what that is.
Thank
Kinda like
you.
non-black men will save us, and I don't know,
No,
straight
that
to
is
Cam.
not-
And I know that's not what you're
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
right? But I do think like that was in the comments.
That's
right,
literally what
of
I was
kind
just
of my
saying.
bus driver gate. Well, sis, what they need to know is you can date non-black men, and you will still have many of the same perils because there are differences culturally, but men are men. And when
Okay,
it comes
thank
down
you.
to misogyny and default presumptions of feminine worth and value, some of those things control cross-culturally. I only know it from experience.
Thank you. Bro. Yo, she literally said exactly what I said, bro. Men are men. Bro, when I talk to my white friends, my Hispanic friends, my Asian friends, bro, what you think the mindset is like different? Like, what do you think they're thinking, bro? They when I talk to my white, Hispanic, Asian friends, we're on the same page when it comes to women, okay? The same page. We have the same issues. We have the same solutions. We think and view the world the same way. Just because we're a different skin color and come from different places don't mean we view it differently. There might be slight differences, but overall, the picture's the same. And of course, she threw out misogyny. No, it's not misogyny, okay? It's biology. And yeah, typically, we're going to view it the same. So you jumping ship to another race thinking that is going to be the game changer for you? No, not unless you fix yourself. You're going to get the same results, okay? You're going to be very disappointed. But a lot of black women, especially like 2023, bro, they were big on that. They were big on the whole divesting thing. And I think a lot of them did get disenchanted with the concept of that after they, experienced it for themselves and thinking, oh man, this guy's going to be, Jonathan is going to be totally different than, DeQuavius over here. No, he's not, bro. He's going to have the same exact way of thinking, okay? He might just be a little nicer saying it. But it's going to be the same way. But let's keep going.
But I will say some of the women that I know that have dated outside of their race, I do not. I only date black men. But they will try to convince me that it is better. And maybe that's why we have that idea that it is romanticized. Because it's like, oh, girl, you need to get you an Italian man because they know how to worship us. They know how to treat us better. Okay, so when it comes to that, do you feel like people throw that in your face as well? Because when you see a black man that's dating a white woman, it's kind of just like, okay, the athletes, oh, they all got them a white woman, and that's fine.
There's a whole movement called Passport Bro.
This is what I mean.
Oh, God.
Hold up.
It goes to Ebony's point about black women being fed the narrative that you got to take what you can get, that you're the lowest on the totem pole in terms of attractiveness, and that black men are actively saying, I do not want a black woman. I am going to go to another country to find another ethnicity or race of women because I deem them to be more attractive. I deem them to have more traditional values, bow to me,
Submissive.
Hold
What
up.
though?
to marry them.
There shouldn't be no reason why you can't say, I don't want to date a bus driver. You know why?
Hold up. Yo, she just mischaracterized the Passport Bro so hard, bro. I can't let that slide. No. Yo, first of all, the Passport Bros going over there is not a black woman issue. Okay, it's not like just black dudes are doing this. Okay, it's dudes of all races are coming to the conclusion that Western women just ain't it anymore. White, Hispanic, black, Asian. Look online. You can see every race of guy saying, nah, this ain't it. Okay, so it's not like, oh, just a bunch of black guys that don't want to date black women. The black guys don't want to date the white women here. They don't want to date the Asian women here. It's not about the race here. It's about the mentality here, the mindset, the morality, okay? The indoctrination. That is what men are escaping. And it's not because they don't want to date the black women here. The black women here, there's some really beautiful ones. It's not even that they find them unattractive physically. It's that they find them unattractive, like spiritually, bro, like on a moral level, on like, can I actually do life with this person level? Okay? And it's not a black issue. And yeah, they are moving. The only thing she said right in that whole, venting thing she was going off on was that, yeah, they want traditional women. But peep this. Did you see what the women did once she said have more traditional values? She shamed it. She shamed it. If you caught on, she said, "Oh, bow down, worship." You see what I mean? And then they wonder why men are leaving when traditionalism in a woman is deemed as negative. Oh, you want a slave. Bow down and worship. Oh, that's what you want. That's why you're leaving. And then they're wondering why. When if I ask you to be submissive, if I ask you to be soft and feminine, you're going to look at me as if I'm trying to oppress you. See, they haven't even looked in the mirror. You can tell by the way they're talking and their response to what men actually want. Their response to what men actually want tells you everything. They have not looked in the mirror. They have not self-assessed. And just like back when I said at the beginning, men have been telling women what they want. White, black, Hispanic, all have been telling women, hey, this is what we want. And overwhelmingly, they've said no. And they've even taken it a step further. We're not going to become what you want, and we're actually going to shame what you want. How dare you want that? You want a slave? You want someone to worship you? And they wonder why men are leaving.
Lawyer, you did your education, you've done your work, you've been on television, you're still on television, and you probably don't want that kind of man, and that's okay.
And I don't think that man wants me, lawyer. That's the other part of the
where
conversation.
You gonna meet him?
No, I'm not saying that, but that man does not want me. Melissa, can you speak to that?
I had this exact conversation about her.
Yeah.
And I posed the question about, the CEO of Xerox. Why should she have to date a bus driver? Why is this even a part of the conversation? First of all, the two of them probably have very little in common. Not even in terms of them personally, but their lives and their lifestyles and that sort of thing. And what's called into question when it comes to trying to date somebody who's of a different status than where you are, you're going to encounter problems that are going to result in microaggressions, just like the fissures are going to kind of show up in the relationship, but it's going to be a lot of unsaid things.
Insecurities,
you know what I'm saying? Like why, listen, in a perfect world, Miss CEO of Xerox, she falls in love with a bus driver and everything works out well, but in reality, probably not.
Well, here's the thing, Melissa. What you're naming, though, is really the crux of the issue, which is that people want to sit on platforms, social media, radio, and television, and the like, and they want to pretend as if we live in a society, particularly in this nation, that doesn't have class, socioeconomic distinction.
Exactly.
Let's just start from that point.
Yeah. Right.
We want to pretend that we live in this kumbaya society where, quote, everyone's the same. Stop cap. Stop cap.
Yeah. It's
It's
true.
not.
Yeah.
It's not. Like
very
we need
true.
to be clear. And it's not, for me, it's never about being better than, which I think is how a lot of that was framed.
Yes.
I've been very clear. My mother drove Charlotte-Mecklenburg School's bus for many years to make sure that I had everything that I needed. And from that, and if I bought a bus driver home to Gloria, she would slack the black off of me. Because her point is I put you in position to go get it. To go get it at a different and yes, higher level. So why, and let me tell you something else I know about women who show up in success and financially and this, that, and the third, and then they try to act as if we're all the same, and they do date, men that maybe are differently positioned financially or educationally or otherwise. They are typically resented. I'm gonna just tell you the truth. The women I know that build men, right?
Yeah.
Right? Because we've all done it. That's truth be told. In my first marriage, I paid the bills. Let's be clear. I'm not speaking hypothetically. I'm speaking from experience. I was a lawyer dating a grad student Who do you think was running them bills?
Right.
Let's stop it. And what I felt, y'all, was I appreciate the lifestyle I get to live with you, but I hate you for it.
Yes.
But I hate you for it.
Yes.
I hate that I got to have my hand out when I want to go get these new kicks. I hate that I have to ask in a way about, well, where are we going on vacation and what does my contribution look like? Because I'm not running shop the way I really want to run shop as most men really like to lead their household.
Right.
Exactly. And so when I was talking about Miss CEO of Xerox,
Okay, and I can agree to a certain extent with what you just said. Okay, yeah, a guy is not necessarily. Here's the thing: can a guy feel comfortable with his woman leading and being the primary breadwinner? Absolutely. However, it's not ideal. It's not ideal for the man or the woman because it's going to put the man in let's say a weakened position, and the woman is going to have the authority in the relationship. And we all know how women behave when they have authority, when they are in the leadership role. Okay, the man needs to be there because the woman is oftentimes going to disrespect that man, look down on him. She's not going to be able to look up to him, and by default, she's going to look down on him, which is going to be a very bad dynamic. That guy's going to feel emasculated a lot of the time, and it's just going to end up in, like she said, resentment on both ends, okay? So I do agree with what she said. It's not the best dynamic to go for, and if I was, giving advice, which I am, I would say, yes, you need to make more than your girl. You need to make more than your girl, ideally, as much as possible. And I wish it wasn't that way. You know what I'm saying? It sounds very superficial, it sounds very anti-love and kumbaya, but it's the reality, okay? You need to make more than your girl. You need to be, higher status if possible, but you just need to be in that leadership role for things to work out in the best way possible. So I will agree with at least that point.
what is the problem with a woman of that stature? The amount of time that she's invested, not into her, schooling, but her profession, into her life, building herself up. Why shouldn't she feel like she should be equally yoked? Why is that a problem?
Yeah.
And then it's always the reverse card.
True.
Well, when men are titans of industries, do they go looking for equally yoked, et cetera, et cetera? No, because they're probably not going to go find it. I'm like, oh, Jesus, Lord, take the wheel.
Yeah, well, they also want somebody that's going to follow them around and do what they want them to do.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Titans of industry are looking for women who are not going to say, I'm sorry, my schedule is
Correct.
Exactly. They need a woman who is going to be at their beck and call, who is going to be available for everything, who's going to have the kids, raise them,
Yes.
and just be available for them.
Would you ever do something like that, Al?
What?
Pay all the bills? Like, would you take care?
She's too
Like,
cute.
say he's like a stay-at-home dad, and he's taking care of the kids, and you are the breadwinner. Are you okay with taking care of all the bills?
No.
No.
No, yeah.
I there would have to be there would have to be circumstances
Just say no.
for that to, like, what's the issue?
Why aren't you working?
Yes, why aren't you working?
She's saying, put another way, make it make sense.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
Make it make
And if it
sense.
doesn't make sense, it's a no.
Now,
Yeah.
what do y'all think
It's
about
never
this,
gonna
though,
make
when the
sense.
man does work and then he's never there?
Well, personally, I'm fine with it because the Bible says you're supposed to provide. But that's just me. I'm also
Like,
not,
are the lights on?
I believe in provision.
Like, is the house there?
Yeah.
Right, because somebody does have to go get it. And just
But before I go, let her continue. Not all women think that way. In fact, I would argue a lot of Western women also, they want everything. Okay, they want the guy to be super rich, make it a whole lot of money, 300K, 500K, $1 million plus, and then also have time for them, like to be able to hang out with them, cuddle with them, go on vacations. They don't understand that making that kind of money comes with being busy all the time. They like I said, women live in this fantasy world. I believe her when she says that she wants that and can accept that because, one, she's older, and she's been in the industry and she knows how these things work. So she's probably more grounded in how these dynamics actually work. But young women who just look at men and want the rich guy, they are clueless as to the lifestyle of that man and what he actually has to do to bring in all that money. So yeah, in their head, oh, he's going to be rich and he's going to have all the time in the world for me. And we're going to spend all day just, cuddling together and having sex. And when we're not doing that, we're going to be traveling. And all he's going to have to do is maybe make a call or two here and there. And we'll be back to living life. No, dude, you're probably going to see that dude very rarely. And you're going to have to be okay with that. But that's one of the uncomfortable truths that women right alongside with, you're probably going to have to share them. That's one of the uncomfortable truths that a lot of women don't want to accept or just are unaware of, comes with the territory of dating a successful man. But let's keep going.
I'm consistent on this. I have friends who were raised in more affluent childhoods and backgrounds than I was, where they had two parents in the home, one personal friend, both of her parents were doctors, and her mother, who was a pediatrician, was never around. And she went to a private school, and she'd be like, Mommy, this is bullshit, because all my other friends' moms are on the field trips, and where are you? And in my house, that's like so crazy, because I had a single mom who was working 3 or 4 jobs, driving a school bus, also getting paid at the time $25 an hour. I'm talking about in the 90s at UPS. Shout out to UPS. And all these things. So my expectation was that she wouldn't be around. Right. Because I understood at a young age, to your point, Elle, you can't have both at the same time.
Yeah.
Someone
Exactly.
cannot be taking care of your lived expenses and be up in your face. So which one do you value more? Like, mama can't be making Lunchables and on the field trips if she's going to get it.
Yeah.
To make sure that I can have the things I need to succeed in life.
Yeah.
Same thing with my husband. My husband can't be up in my face, sitting on the couch with me watching Netflix if I need somebody to send these kids to private school.
Yeah.
If I need somebody to make sure that we have our mortgage paid, not our rent paid, our mortgage paid. So I'm very much okay. Baby, go to work.
So you'll be okay with him being gone first?
Bye-bye.
Really?
I love you. Go get it. And that's what I want men to understand about most black women that I know. Most of us, contrary to popular belief, don't just want a man. We want the man that we want. We want a man that we desire. We want a man that we're actually attracted to. Physically, emotionally, psychologically, intellectually. And if you
Cool. Fantastic. Fantastic. See, that's where you have to start. You have to start with, what do I want? And women, not just black women, but women in general, are very good at that first part. What do I want? It's necessary. I want a guy who's successful. I want a guy who's attractive. I want a guy who makes a lot of money. I want a guy with values and standards, integrity. I want a guy who's great in bed. Cool. Have your list. You got to know what you want. The problem comes with the very next step. Just as crucial, if not more crucial than the first step. Now, what does that guy want from me? Now, often the very fatal flaw that a lot of women make is, if they even get to that part where they're asking what the man wants, is that they'll superimpose what they want him to want into that box. I want him to want all of these things. Instead of looking at what a natural, regular guy would want, well, here, I'm going to create a man that wants all these things that I want him to want. No. What does that man want from me in return? And then, when you make that list, a man of this caliber probably wants a feminine woman, a woman who's in shape, a woman who's not annoying, a woman with morals and standards, a woman who's not ran through, doesn't have a body count of 20, 30, 40 plus, okay? A woman who is God-fearing if he's religious, okay? And then what you do is, ladies, if you're watching, you structure yourself accordingly, so when that man sees you, You are just as attractive to him as he is to you. And then you mesh. The problem is women stop at the first part. And this goes for all women. They have exactly what they want. Oh, they know that list. They can memorize it. They could say it backwards. They have their list. But they haven't thought for 2 seconds what that man wants from them. So they live their life recklessly, racking up body counts, gaining weight, being combative, being masculine. But they still have all these wants, though. They still have all these wants. And then they wonder at the end, when they haven't packaged themselves or presented themselves in the way that that man would want, they wonder why they don't get him. I mean, just in this video, they spoke about traditional values in a negative way. But the man they want, the man that she just listed off, I want a man I'm actually attracted to, and this and that. What do you think he's going to want in return? Men overwhelmingly want women with traditional values, and you just demonize the very thing he's going to want from you, and then you're wondering why you're not going to get him. It's insane. But let's keep going.
Not that. You know what I mean?
A whole lot,
to
right,
ask.
nowadays.
It is a lot to ask.
It's not a lot
It's
to
not.
ask.
I actually think it is.
No, I swear to God, everybody trying to convince us that we need to accept the bare minimum needs to go somewhere. No, that is not a lot to ask. I swear to God, the bar's in hell.
No, but I agree with you because
I
if
just
they
don't
have
want
all
it.
that,
Was
they
my,
want
end of my
love.
point.
Yeah, they want
so
someone
if
that
you're
can
not all of those things, if I don't desire you, I really don't want you. Real boss men, they do not desire a financial or an intellectual equal. They are not attracted to it. It is a turn off. The pee-pee goes burp, burp, burp. It does. I'm telling y'all the truth. They did not go to law school, L'Oreal, so they could end up with a peer. They went to law school, they went to medical school, they went to Harvard MBA so that they could be the dominant, so that they could run the shop.
We're all single here on this panel. Are you single?
I am definitely.
And okay, you see, this lady in the white in the middle, she is based to a certain degree because you could tell she's older, you could tell she's educated, and she has her feet on the ground to some degree. I will say she has been given some really good points, and she clearly understands what men want to a degree. I would say better than most women. She's pretty and level-headed, and what she just said was true. Men aren't going to want that. They're quote unquote equal with them. No, they want the opposite. Okay, like I said, opposites attract. They're going to want the yin and the yang. They're the masculine, they want the feminine. But a lot of women nowadays think, oh, he wants the carbon copy of himself. A go-getter boss babe who's bringing in the money and it can go get it and, is leading a Fortune 500 company and, telling people what to do and is on magazine. No, he doesn't want that. He wants the exact opposite. And a lot of women are offended by that very I wouldn't even say it's an uncomfortable truth. It's just reality. It's always been that way. It's just feminism has indoctrinated women to fight against it, to fight against their nature, to push back against traditionalism. But let's keep going.
I'm newly single.
Yeah.
I've been single a very long time.
Yeah.
And
Single.
and all successful,
Yes.
which is scary. So it is that hard,
It is,
right? We're saying it's not that hard, but you have 4 successful women.
Because the success is not to our advantage
Beautiful.
romantically.
Now-
okay, let's just name some things.
Yeah.
Okay, because I can't sit up on this panel and not name the fact that even in this conversation of 4 diverse women of different lived experiences, we still represent some similarities. Nobody on this panel is darker than a brown paper bag. We need to name that. Nobody on this panel is more than a size 10. And so let's just kind of expand the conversation. We represent a preference. Oh, am I the only one here?
No, I'm listening.
Oh,
No, we're listening.
We represent a preference amongst what society, and in particular, black men have said they preferred. And yet, we represent black women that are still paying a price and a tax for our success. Can we imagine what this conversation looks like with our darker melanated sisters? Can we imagine what this conversation looks like with our curvier sisters? So I think that this is showing, to me, the impetus of the crisis. We're in a crisis when it comes to Black women in romantic partnership, because to Melissa's point earlier, of course we can, and many of us do date outside of the Black race, but I'm never gonna try to convince a Black woman to want something she doesn't want.
Oh,
right?
never,
You know what I
never,
mean?
absolutely
If you
not.
Okay. Real talk, though. She made some valid points there. However, it's not that it's a crisis. The crisis exists because women refuse to present themselves in the way that men want. They are fighting against the system, which is only hurting themselves in the long run. Men have said, this is what we want. Women are raging against that idea. No, we refuse to give in and become what you're asking for. We refuse to give in. We're going to become boss babes. We're going to become strong and independent. We're going to become leaders of industry and Fortune 500 company CEOs, and you're going to want us. When we reach the pinnacle, you can say that right now, but at the end of the day, you're going to want us. And then they get to that place, and the men are just like, well, we told you that's not what we want. And now they're sitting up here on a panel. And the thing is, she's not even oblivious. She just listed off what men are looking for and what men are not looking for. They're just not marketing themselves in the way that men want. They are actively raging against the system and then are confused as to the results they're getting. If women would set aside, okay, put down their feminist picket signs, okay, listen to what men want, present themselves accordingly, find a guy that presents himself accordingly to what you're looking for, there wouldn't be a problem. There would be a nice, beautiful mesh. But that's not what's going to happen. Because look at them. Basically what they're trying to do right now is change men. Why don't you want a strong, independent woman, regardless of the race? Because it's not just Black women having this problem. We've heard white women. I've seen countless TikTok videos of white women, Hispanic women, Asian women complaining about the same thing. So they're making it a Black issue, and I get that. There is a conversation to be had about the Black community, but this is on a much larger scale. Women of all races who are boss babe, super hyper independent, bought the feminist lie that was going to give you happiness. They're now coming around in their late 20s, early 30s, and they're like, I'm not getting the results in the dating, scene that I thought I was going to get. And in fact, it's getting increasingly harder as time goes on. That's what's happening. Because for somewhere along this crazy diluted path, they thought men were just going to give in and just accept what we've been saying we don't want. So it's crazy to me. And no, I don't think Black women should just settle for the bare minimum, bottom of the barrel guy who's willing to tolerate her. No. But at the same time, you gotta look at yourself and ask, why do people think you deserve that? Because the same way men want to fly overseas and go above and beyond and get their money right over here and get their situation all put together so they can get away from this, the level of investment that it's going to take a guy to get over there and find himself a wife and settle down, and he's willing to do that. That means men are willing to go after what looks good, what fits the bill. That means there is something that you can do, that you can mirror, that is going to give you the results. Like I said, they are actively rejecting what men want. They actively shame it. They actively push back against it. They refuse to model themselves after the women who do, and they shame the women who do. If you're feminine, if you cater to your man, oh, you're a pick-me. Oh, if you're submissive to your man, oh, you're a slave. Oh, you're just a maid. You're just a sex maid. Why don't you want strong, independent women? What's wrong with you? This is a crisis. It is a crisis, but it's a crisis of your own making, ladies.
If you are attracted and desirous of a black man, that's what I want for you.
All right, thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Listen, this was an amazing conversation. Melissa, Ebony, Al. Listen, we got to do a part 2, I think.
Yeah, I have to.
All right.
I agree. I think that was a great conversation. The problem is, and I know they're not going to have this because the whole thing is, like in the title, listen to black women. So of course they're not gonna let black men in this space, which I understand. Look, there's a space for women to have their talks, and honestly, I'm actually surprised that it wasn't as bad as I expected. You know, you put a bunch of women in the room, and it could just the delusion could be, you know, intoxicating. Just listening to it, you just want to pull your hair out sometimes. But these women weren't too bad. These women were pretty, you know, level-headed when it came to their understanding. In some major ways, they were completely wrong, but definitely not as bad as I initially expected going into this video. And I think I've made a lot of good points, okay? And like I said, women just need to market themselves in the way that men have been asking, and things would work out better. Now, are there problems on the male side that need to be worked out, that men need to improve? Absolutely. There are things men need to work out as well. But to sit here and suggest that the problem is men and the fact that they don't want us and why don't you want us? We're perfect. It's crazy. But hey, guys, I would love to see more talks like this, and if they make a part 2, you best believe I'm going to be reacting to it. But that's all for today, guys. If you got value from this video or entertainment, please go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you will, I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I would really like your help with that, guys. So please go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, take it easy.